Hey, this is Peter, and I've been sat down in front of a game I've never seen before by John.
Yep, this is Sanctum, a tower defense game where you run and gun with first-person shooting.
Okay, so that's two things I found out about this. I've never played it before.
Yep, and it's actually very interesting, sometimes quite hard, but why don't you just have a look at what weapons and towers are on offer.
Okay.
You do get a choice at the beginning of each level. I think earlier on, where we are, this is actually the first level. It's relatively limited.
Alright, I'm not really a big shotgun fan, so I'll kick with those.
Yeah, definitely when you're getting used to it, it's better to have the more general purpose
And
weapons.
there's a choice on towers as well?
Yes. Just a small choice in this level of 3 different to swap out.
Okay, but there's a lot I could bring in.
Yeah, definitely. Some of these towers are from the downloadable content that just got released. Like I think the Violator is possibly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think the Killing Floor is as well.
Yeah, there were like 50 or 60p downloadable contents to just get the tower.
Okay.
All right, so why don't you get
I'm
right
just
into
going to stick with the default. All right, let's go.
So there you go. Here you are in the game. You actually sort of walk around. You have to walk around to build.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a texture pop in when that started up. So it's clearly an Unreal Engine 3 game.
Yep, but once you get going, there's pretty much none at all. So when you go ahead and hit Tab.
Okay.
That sort of gives you your overview of the entire level. You can also teleport to any of those televators around the map. There's a few by default, but you also can build your own wherever you want.
I'm guessing by the path here that I'm going to have to maze to stop enemies from getting in.
Yeah, that's just right. This game is pretty much entirely about mazing in terms of tower defense strategy.
Okay.
You kind of want to get an idea of your level, the layout of the level, and actually pretty much set up your entire maze with just these very cheap block towers which have no guns.
Okay.
And then worry about putting the guns in different bits later.
Okay.
So you can sort of, on this map, it's a little bit, it's not exactly a giant grid of squares. There's a little bit more sort of different areas where you might want to think about how you direct the enemies around the map. Oh, so if you place one by mistake, you can also just right-click and hold on it.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that can stay there. So can I place things on top of these blocks?
Well, basically, when you place down a gun turret, it replaces the block.
Okay.
So sometimes visually it looks like they're inside the block. Sometimes it looks like they're on top, or sort of different effects like that, like you might expect.
Yeah.
Depending on what type of gun it is. There are also a handful of turrets which are basically floor blocks that the enemies run over, like a slow field or a sort of a mine, that kind of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And this game's really very much about upgrades. And upgrades not only to your turrets, but also to your guns. Now, while you're just wandering around, if you just hit left shift...
Left shift.
Yeah, then you pull up your weapon upgrade menu. And here you can upgrade one of your 3 weapons as well.
Okay, I'm going to just stick to the towers for a minute.
Well, it's pretty good idea to just get your basic maze set up. All these block towers are very cheap. These cost 2 resources each. So you can set up your entire maze and then worry about where you want to put guns later.
Okay.
So as you get all this set up, you want to think about...
that looks like I'm okay there. I'm forcing them around a nice little area.
Yeah, and this is very much... it's not like some of the crossover tower defense games where the player actually shooting the enemies is kind of helpful, but not totally required. In this game, it very much is... You have to be shooting to have a chance of winning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So towers are not that useful here.
Well, no, it's about you have to have both towers and yourself shooting. You can't really heavily lean on one or the other.
So it's kind of like Trenched or Iron Brigade for the Xbox 360 in that way, which you really needed.
Yeah. So it's a total. Some people might think like, oh, I'll just max out my weapons or I'll just max out my towers, and you have to really use both.
Okay, that makes sense so far.
Yeah. And also, by the way, I'm not sure if you didn't notice this. Televators are actually elevators as well. So if you're just walking around, you can get up on top of your blocks with them, which is useful in certain parts you want to shoot down on the enemies.
Yeah, so you can use them like ramparts.
Exactly, and the enemies, they don't really kill you, they more sort of knock you about and prevent your ability to shoot. So there's not too much worry about your character itself dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know where I want to block them off now.
Yeah.
So how much cash do I have to do this?
Well, to start off, you had about 200, and you're only down to 184 here.
Okay, so these blocks are very, very cheap.
Exactly, and it's really just about setting up your initial maze. On some of the maps, it might be very intricate. Others, it's quite simple. So you can already see the enemy's been forced a much longer distance by what he set up already. And then you just want to basically concentrate firepower.
Yeah.
And it's mostly ground enemies. It actually has an interesting diversity of enemies where they have like certain enemies will have weak spots, other enemies like can only be shot like from behind or.
So are there enemies that can just ignore the maze?
There are a handful of air enemies.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's also enemies which like the more they're shot constantly, the more damage they take.
Okay.
So there's a lot of sort of different. You have to really learn their weaknesses and learn how to approach each type of enemy.
Yeah.
To really make the most advantage of each wave as it comes. And some of them will be useful. You have a high damage sniper rifle. Other ones you might want to use the assault rifle, which is constantly shooting to build up how they're being damaged.
All right, that looks like it's as good as it's.
And you can always sort of fill in the gaps and remove and add these blocks later on.
So I can't put one here. Oh, I can.
Hit tab and see where they're gone. Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh, you can actually make them go a whole way down there.
Wow, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah. Now these towers are quite cheap, but once you start, you will only be able to initially.
Surely I can't. Yeah,
exactly. You will only be able to build like a handful of actual guns initially, but you can set up your whole maze.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah. It's probably best to set up your guns close to the front there.
So let's zip back. This teleport system is actually very handy indeed.
Yeah, and even if you fall off the map, which in some maps it's actually quite easy. There's like.
So are they the towers all omnidirectional? Do I need to worry about which direction I'm putting them in?
Oh no, yeah, they'll shoot on all four sides of those blocks. So that's your basic Gatling turret there. Just shoots quite constantly. I think right now you've also got the lightning and scatter laser, both of which are a bit more high power, but a shorter cooldown. I think the lightning is a longer cooldown. The scatter laser is inaccurate. So there's a
lightning there.
Pretty decent variety of turrets in the game.
Let's try a scatter laser. I guess we'll have that one. Since that's longer range.
Yeah, and I think if you hit...
Let's put that one in. Oh, you can actually see how big the range is.
Yeah, you can see the range. None of them are huge range.
Let's stick that one there.
Some of the other ones, like I think the Violator, which we saw.
So can I upgrade the
turrets?
Yeah, can I upgrade them?
So just hover your mouse over them, one individually, and just hold down left click again, and it will upgrade. There you go. The system for this is all very simple. And you can see the costs there, and they're right below. So that one... You don't have enough money to upgrade it.
Alright, looks like it's time for me to start going. So how do I bring out my guns?
Alright, so, you hit shift to play your guns, but once you get into actual combat mode, they'll automatically come out. That's okay. Right now, it's just for upgrading them. So just go ahead and hit enter, and enemies will start coming.
Let's get into possession first. There we go.
Alright.
So I've got a sniper rifle, standard scope.
Yep. That's a freeze gun.
Whoa.
Yep.
Oh, it's got alt fire.
Yeah. So you want to start shooting these guys.
That's a grenade, that's cool.
So these ones are basically your basic enemy. Relatively weak. And now these guns have these sort of long reload times, and it's generally advisable to switch between them when they're reloading.
Okay, so I don't need to be on them while they're reloading.
They will reload in the background. So your enemies...
towers really took care of business
really
there.
Came out there. So now you can have another opportunity to upgrade, etc.
Alright.
There we go. So you should try out the sniper rifle. It's actually quite powerful.
Oh. That wasn't how I expected that to go at all.
No.
Oh, it's even got damage per second up there.
Exactly. So you can see how effective you are versus your turrets. Now this game also does have a complete co-op mode. It's probably easier to get right close to those guys, I think. Yeah. So these guys actually, you can see they have a little red mark on their front where they're actually have a weak spot there.
Okay.
Even though they're the most basic enemies, they still have that weak spot. See that you get in the 11. Obviously, your assault rifle is quite weak.
So can I take damage off these?
They will, if you actually... Okay, this wave just ended. They will sort of like knock you, and you won't be able to shoot for a short while, but it doesn't really hurt
You can't die?
No, I'm pretty sure you can, no.
Okay.
I've only actually played this game a little bit more than Pete, but...
A new creature incoming.
Yeah, so if you actually hit escape... You'll see a little encyclopedia there. It looks like it has a little runner. Very quick wave.
Okay, so I need to use explosives against these because they're very fast.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you do actually have any explosives, but...
I've got grenades on my assault rifle.
Oh, yes. Right. There you go.
There we go.
Now, it's actually interesting, that whole... Right then, when you couldn't quite build it... if you're playing co-op, the other player can pump in the extra bit of money required. Yeah, so... There you go, that's a freeze. Quite effective. Oh, that grenade actually was very effective.
Yeah, but there are a lot of these things.
And this game really does take... has quite a high learning curve, I think, to really get a handle on what's the best way to upgrade your towers. Yeah, so there you go. Actually, that was taking a little bit of damage. It really just... I found it quite hard initially.
I can see that. It
Yeah.
was a little bit more difficult than I was expecting that. Alright, let's try upgrading my weapons.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that one. So that has up my damage on everything.
Yeah. Shots per second.
Okay, but there's no reload time.
No, the sniper, if you upgrade it, you'll get 2 shots before you have to reload.
Oh, so that adds in some ammo.
Yes,
as well.
And it upgrades the damage.
Okay, so next wave, I'm back to the walkers away from the runners.
Yes, and actually you have, this is another interesting type of enemy. These ones are quite tall, and they do almost no damage unless you hit them in that red spot on the top of their heads there.
So definitely a good thing I upgraded that sniper rifle.
Exactly, yeah. And you'll see some enemies in the future where like they could only damage them from the rear.
That didn't seem to do much damage to it anyway.
Oh, it did. There you go.
Oh yeah, no damage unless I hit the nice glowing weak spot.
Yep.
Or even if like, wow, I'm doing nothing there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think we might have some
That's
kind of...
depressing.
So very quickly you can tell like it's gonna...
Especially
I think that guy might have had some
since,
kind of shield on.
My tower's not really pulling their weight today.
Yeah, so you can actually see how you're... Actually, no, you're doing almost less than half the DPS of the towers right now. So that guy seems to be in some kind of shield mode.
No, he's taking some damage.
And then now he was, but just briefly before when he was all glowy, I'm pretty sure he was shielded. Alright. So now this is why you can see you really want to get that whole maze set up.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely cases when your towers aren't going to be enough, and you're going to have to chase them down the whole maze. And you want that long maze, definitely, so you can get the last few stragglers
that was
down.
close.
Yeah. Now this is normal difficulty. There is easy and hard. I would say that normal is quite hard. I don't even want to imagine what hard is. I mean, this is the wave 4 of 20 on the first level.
It doesn't seem too bad so far.
No. But it's a lot of tower defense games start you off really, really easy.
Yes, that's definitely true.
Yeah, so...
Let's throw in some more Gatling guns.
Yeah.
Just top.
And comparatively, this game does not give you much of a honeymoon period, shall I say.
I can see that, yeah. It's definitely starting to get a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes.
Sure.
Now you could, if you wanted to, throw in a televator right in the middle of this group of
yeah, because I can actually just still jump around.
Exactly. There you go. And also, very interesting is the addition of a co-op in this, because you have 2 players both building, both shooting.
So does it rebalance the game for co-op?
Yes, it does. And each player has their own money, gets money for killing and killing enemies for their turrets and stuff like that. And you're both shooting, so there definitely get a bit of... I think it's a really good tower defense game for co-op. Most tower defense games don't really suit themselves to co-op at all.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, traditional ones where you're just building turrets.
Traditional ones like the one back in StarCraft and Warcraft 3 are very co-op.
Oh, that is certainly true.
But some of the more developed ones have been very single player affairs. But
yes, the ones where you have a character work
Yeah.
well in co-op. The ones where you're just building turrets as God effectively really are single player games.
I don't know. I disagree there, but I think we're gonna have to agree.
Well, I guess the ones I've played.
Again, I think... Oh, so can I put this on top?
No,
I can't.
it's 1 turret per block.
Yeah, it just looked like I might have been able to.
That's just because of the way that the turrets are set up.
Alright, let's put a scatter lightning there.
Yep.
Let's do some more upgrading. So I like this front turret.
Yeah.
Oh! Put in another one by mistake. Never mind.
Yep.
Alright, so let's play this up to wave 10.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of boss waves?
You're gonna pretty much get a handle on what all the different types of enemies are.
Knocked way off there.
It's more that there's different enemy types rather than one boss type. Some you might say are harder than others, but really it's the...
Yeah.
You know, you have some that are fast, and some that you have to shoot in a certain place, or some that you have to shoot a lot to take damage. I guess these ones are just sort of fast, but quite weak.
They've got a little bit more health than the other runners, though.
Yeah, definitely. but a little bit easier to shoot as well.
This is true.
A much bigger target.
I kind of wish I brought the shotgun after all that. Oh, a little bit of
yeah, definitely some gibbing in this
a little
game.
bit of gibbing.
But it's got a very, it's tower defense, but I find it's got a quite different feel to most tower defense games. Can't really put my finger on it.
The first person definitely makes it feel a little bit more frantic and fast paced.
Yeah, you have a little bit hard time having an idea of what's going on.
Actually, using the tab menu to see what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Here's a boss one.
Yeah, this is more of a boss.
So there's just one that is pretty much.
And like the design of the enemies and everything is very interesting. Definitely not. You know, it's all their own, I think.
Yeah, there aren't very many games that look quite like this. I really like the art style of it.
Yeah, and it's not really cartoony or anything. It's just maybe the characters just like cartoony, but you don't really see them anyway.
I think I might be in some trouble now.
Yeah, I think you should get around the front where his weak spot is.
Oh, he has a weak spot.
I think he had a red eye. I think he's like a giant version of those basic mobs. Again, you can use this elevator to get around in front of him.
Up here seems to be the place.
Yeah.
Oh.
And also, yeah, so you just hit tab and go to the elevator.
Okay.
Yep.
Straight away, that's fine.
Yep, don't worry about it. And so also remember, you can switch to a different weapon in between when one's reloading.
Yep.
To get that maximum.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Probably not enough.
So there you go, hit that red spot right in the front of him.
Oh, they do have health bars a bit.
Yes. Quite subtle, but they're there.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this guy.
I think he's quite low in health, I think. He's almost down. I'm getting this. Oh boy. There you go.
That was close.
Yeah.
Alright, actually, I think that seems like a good place to call it.
Yeah, so it's a tower defense game, no questions asked. But
definitely.
I think it's really got its own feel. A lot of tower defense games feel very similar. This one is just out there by itself.
Yeah, a lot of them do tread very carefully to the original Warcraft and Starcraft mod design, but this is very different. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and it starts you off quite simply. There's more towers and later more upgrades, and a lot of different styles of maps.
Yeah.
They have a very good variety of enemies in this game.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to have to try the co-op out pretty soon.
Yeah, we should totally do some of that.
Alright, so it's out on Steam. It's Windows only. You can get it for £12-ish for the complete edition.
Yeah, that has all of the DLC that's so far been released.
Or you can get it for, I think, $6.99 for just the original game, and the DLC is in between 60p and about £1.20, depending on the DLC you want. So yeah, this has been Hit the Switch. We'll be back on Wednesday with another video.